Get the news you need to know about with ABC News updates just minutes away on 890 AM WLS. Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
5:23, a Saturday, the 25th of September. Just a few days left in September. September, by the way, is National Pledge Your Mate Month. So wives, you've got about 5 more days to keep running away from your mate. Then it's over. Jim, welcome to the show. You're on WLS.
Morning, Jake. How you doing?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Yeah, we used to get those tamale sandwiches all the time. They used to call them tamale boats. They would say that the hot dog bun was like the boat hole, and they do the chili and the onions and all that stuff on it.
How did they get to call it the mother-in-law?
You're the first one I've ever heard mention it like that before.
I saw it on a national TV show last week. That's what amazed me. I never heard of it before until I saw it on TV, and then all of a sudden it's like, there it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a lot of the restaurants for a while outside of the city, but you see them in the hot dog stands all the time. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about was this UN thing that's going on.
Yes.
With this Ahmadinejad.
Ahmadinejad, yes.
Why would it be that the U.S. Embassy would walk out on him instead of staying there, let him do his little spiel, and then come back and counter everything that this guy has to say?
Because that's what they do. They walk out in a huff.
Right, and then they never get their point across.
You know what? To that group in the UN, the people that hate us are going to hate us, and the people that love us will love us, and the people that like him will listen to what he says and believe it, and it's really sad and pathetic. I don't know why the UN is still in the U.S. I'd kick them out too. I
was going to say, it almost sounds like a useless organization.
Look at back in the Iraq days with the that oil program. They were skimming money off of that. They're just they're just bad people there right now.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of the peacekeeping thing that they do, but all this grandstanding that they do is just getting nobody anywhere.
They have this human rights committee they put together, and you look at the countries that are around it are the ones where the biggest violations are.
Well, yeah, and then they get all the funding.
Yeah.
So they create their own problems.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
Tom, good morning. Welcome to WLS.
Jake, you were making a point that I called to make a minute ago, but I just wanted to use the first part of the conversation to address. Then they said mother-in-law sandwich associated with, what was it, hot dogs or something?
A tamale in place of the hot dog on a hot dog is on a hot dog bun. You got chili and onions and all that stuff.
It's been so long since I've heard this because I'm 67, but many, many years ago I heard the mother-in-law sandwich was made with tongue. That's what they used to tell us. Mother-in-law, tongue.
Yeah, well,
that's what I heard. That years and years and years ago. So how that other one snuck in there, I'm not sure. But the point I wanted to make was the same one you just did. Yesterday, or the other day, when I heard about Ahmadinejad getting up there again and blaming us 9/11, all this stuff.
He's a truther.
I'm just getting so tired of these foreigners coming over to the UN, which is, like you said, about as useless as you-know-what, and standing up and bashing the United States, enjoying the amenities of the country, the restaurants, the shows, whatever else they do. I think that's the only reason they come to the UN. But since they don't like us here so much, why don't we move the UN? And a nice place like Cuba, okay? That's the place where recently we heard that the older people are making money gathering up all the newspapers they can find from their basements, attics, and whatever, because there's a shortage of toilet paper in Cuba. And they're selling it to people.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't laugh because there's a story this morning, there's a shortage of toilet paper in the parks in California.
Well, that's California. I think that's part of Cuba. And then you could move it to Mexico, where you might have to make your way through the drug lords to get to the UN. Or let's go to Iraq or Iran.
Hey, here's
your cars going by, it might be blown up by a suicide bomber. Let's move to one of those nice countries.
Here's an irony for you. Mexico is building a big wall on their southern border to keep the Guatemalans out.
I would wish Mexico would build a big wall around Mexico to keep everybody in. That would be the wall I want to see.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Len, welcome to WLS.
Good morning.
What can I do for you?
I just wanted to let you know I was at, I used to work in Chicago, and there was, on Western Avenue there was a place called Fat Johnny's that had a whole menu of different odd-named things, and he also had the father-in-law, which was just like the mother-in-law. He'd have the bun, and then he'd put the tamale, then he would split the tamale, put a hot dog in there, and then he'd put the chili and the onions and the cheese on top of that. So that would be the father-in-law. And he had a whole bunch of different things that with different odd names.
So,
like that.
so he split the tamale and inserted the hot dog into the tamale.
Correct. Wow. So we just like that mother-in-law you were talking about.
So it was the father and mother-in-law.
Yes, both of them. A whole bunch of us.
We're losing you. Thank you, Len. We lost him. Thank you for that. The father-in-law, which is a hot dog stuffed into the tamale. Okay, breakfast time. It's 5:29. We're going to get more of your calls, 591-8900. The Awake with Jake show where you learn something. Every Saturday, sometimes. Back after this.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford. 890 AM. WLS. 890 AM.
Coming up Monday at 2 on Rowan Roper, what I promise will be a very moving interview with Thomas Wortham Sr.
And we talk about the state of U.S. security with one of the nation's top terror experts.
Rowan Roper, afternoons, 2 to 6, 890 AM, WLS.
This is Jake Hartford on 890 AM, WLS.
It's 5:35. Awake with Jake on a Saturday morning. Coming up at 6 o'clock in studio, Gary Summers from the Antiques Roadshow right here. Get out your antiques. Leave your wife in the bed. I don't want it. That's a joke. Okay. You heard the news. Lindsay Lohan. Who cares about Lindsay Lohan? Ahmadinejad's going to have a big atomic weapon to point at us, and we're just like talking and trying to be nice to him. Please, Mr. Dictator, don't hurt us, because we want to be loved. We're nice people. That's not going to work with that guy. And then we get Lindsay Lohan. Well, she went into jail at 10:39, and she was really. Who cares? And the Octomon, they're having a big yard sale for her today, out in California, in Orange County. If you want one of her nursing bras, I guess that's up for sale. I'm looking at the list here. A bikini that's been on the cover of some of those tabloid magazines that she was wearing, and some other undergarments. And assorted dirty diapers. A lot of those. Yeah, who cares about Lindsay Lohan? Here's what I don't understand. Follow the logic. When that guy down in Florida was going to burn the Koran, and you saw the pictures of those people in Afghanistan burning American flags, and they had the signs, "Death to America," in perfect English. And those people can't even read. They go to the sign shop. We need 24 of those number 18 "Death to America" signs, and half a dozen of the flags. So, just the very thought that somebody was going to burn the Koran drives those people nuts. Because words have meanings, right? Just like when the president was talking about the Arizona law. Well, it's racial profiling. And people get all excited about that. Well, here this nut from Iran comes here, and he just talks about how 9/11 was an inside job, and we just kind of yawn. Okay. Yeah, he'll have a nuclear weapon. He'll kill us. That's fine. Tell me more about Lindsay Lohan. Are we all on some sort of crazy elixir? We're just like nuts? We're in this stupid state? It just makes no sense. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How you doing?
I'm fine.
You're talking about the mother-in-law sandwich.
Hmm?
I saw that a couple weeks ago on a travel channel. Is that where you saw it?
I saw it somewhere. Somewhere last week.
It was rated like the 6th best stuffed sandwich in the country. And I think it was at Johnny O's on the south side that they went down there to do it. But when Jim called in and talked about getting a sandwich with tongue on it,
yeah,
there is a plant called a mother-in-law tongue. And it could be anywhere from like 8 to 12 inches long and 2 to 3 inches wide. And it's got a sharp tine on the end of it that could be like, maybe as much as an inch long. And if you touch it with your finger, it pricks you.
So what do? You put it in the ground and just cover it with dirt?
Well, no, you put it in a planter and cover it with dirt, and you keep it in the house. And it's a very nice looking plant. I mean, it's just got an odd name, a mother-in-law tongue. It's pretty nice.
You learn something new every Saturday on the show, don't you?
Well, that's what I was thinking. And you're talking about the dingbats. And, there's so many coming out of California that represent that state, and that's why I think that state's in trouble. How about this babe that chairs this committee and gets Stephen Colbert in there?
She's from California.
Yes, she is. That's what I'm saying. The only clown they don't have in Congress from California is Emmett Kelly.
I'm surprised. Nancy Pelosi yesterday said, he's an American. He has a right to do that. It's good and all that stuff. He was there in character. He was not there as just, a celebrity talking about, what it's like to work in the farm, the farmland. He was there in character. He was doing an act.
Right. What surprised me most was Conyers, of all people, at the very beginning, before he opened his mouth, he asked him to leave. He said, you want to make your statement, write it up, and leave. And he says, oh, no, I was invited by the chairwoman. He said, no, she invited me. And then... what's
Zoe Lofgren? Is that the chairwoman's name?
Nah, she's got some weird name.
Crazy Zoe?
Yeah. Anyway, she's up there, and she's smiling when the camera scanned her, and when he's doing his routine, she's smiling.
Because you know why she's smiling? Because unemployment's at 10%. We have foreclosures out the yazoo. And kids aren't learning in school. That's why she's smiling, because she has her attention. She's got the camera on her.
That's right. And that's why they ask celebrities to come in there so they can, $125,000 a pop to get a guy to come in there and do his.
Well, you know what? They didn't pay that. They didn't pay him that. I think it costs a lot of money to run these hearings.
Well, yeah, they don't pay their guests. That's like free advertising for them. One last thing, Jake, real quick. This Ahmadinejad deal, the president's got a lot of trouble pronouncing people's names. Like, he comes back to the guy that bankrupted his kid's college fund and calls him Janulis. So I have a simple way that the president can remember how to pronounce Ahmadinejad's name.
How's that?
You stuff some black pepper up his nostril. You give it a couple seconds, and then he comes out and he says, Ahmadinejad.
Bless you, Russ. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I bless you. 541-591-8900. Hey, speaking of the company you keep, did you see the story yesterday in the Chicago Sun-Times? William Ayers wants to become professor emeritus at the University of Illinois, and Christopher Kennedy, son of the late Robert Kennedy, is head of the committee at, the trustees at U of I. And he wrote a very eloquent denial of why William Ayers should not become professor emeritus. Because Ayers, years ago, wrote a book, dedicated it to the guy who assassinated Christopher Kennedy's father, Robert Kennedy. See, so people you hang with, it does have meaning at times. Mike, you're on WOS.
Morning. Hi, I just wonder, where do you go in Pakistan to buy an American flag? Is there an American flag us, or, I could Pakistani flag here in the U.S., I'd have no idea where to go. Do they have stores? How do they always show up with American flag?
Well, they have the combination American flag, sign shop, and fireworks display stores.
Okay, because, I couldn't figure out where to go to get one if I wanted to.
Yeah, where's the people? Where were the pictures of people burning Iranian flags since this guy was in the UN this week, huh? Anybody in the United States think of that? Why didn't I think of that? That would have been a great demonstration. I could have made national TV. I could have become a star for a minute.
And then the IRS will come after you, so be careful.
Okay, more of the Roe and Roper show coming up after this. No, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. No, what about that? Where are the Americans protesting, burning the Iranian flags? I know there was a lot of people, people that used to live in Iran were protesting in New York. I saw pictures of that. We could have done that here. Did you see Jesse Jackson Jr. last week? That thing about bring it on to the U.S. attorney? He was going to run for mayor, and I guess he figured he wanted to get that whole trying to buy the Senate seat out of the way. So the big headline, bring it on. And did you see what happened after that? This blonde came out of the woodwork, some restaurant hostess in Washington, D.C., who is his social acquaintance. Not having an affair with her, no problem there. She's a social acquaintance. It's a very good term. I got to remember that. No, don't misconstrue it. She's just a social acquaintance. Where are you going tonight, honey? Well, I'm going out with my social acquaintance. You stay home, but I'm going out to dinner with my social acquaintance. Actually, when your social acquaintance is a restaurant hostess, you don't really have to go anywhere because you're already at the restaurant. Hey, by the way, I got quoted in Kathy Posner's blog the other day. Requoted, I guess. Because the state of Illinois has changed the lottery company. I guess they hired a private company to run the lottery. And my quote was, why don't they just have the mob do it? Because how could the state fail at gambling? Think about that. How could you blow gambling? Gambling is easy to do. People that run the gambling, you go to the casinos. Paul from Arlington Heights was talking about, the Dunes Hotel, which is gone, but now it's the Bellagio, which is an even bigger hotel. Do you ever notice all the big chandeliers they have? You know who pays for that? The gamblers. Because it's always in the house's favor. That's right. Let the mob run it. God, I remember once when I was young, I was at the Dunes Hotel. It was a Saturday morning. I went to the craps table, 8 o'clock in the morning. I put $2 down on the don't pass line, because I was even negative back then when I was a youth. And the pit boss looked at me and says, young man, this is the Dunes Hotel on a Saturday in Las Vegas. Get that $2 out of here. It's a $5 minimum. Then years later, I take that $5 out. I play at one of the Iowa riverboats. And I was considered a high roller. They wanted to comp me for the Conway Twitty show. But the mob knows how to do gambling. The state can't. State's got to hire a private company. It's crazy. So anyway, Kathy Posner's blog, I urge you to go sign up for it, kathyposner.com, because there's something coming this week. I'm going to need your help, your votes, and all that good stuff. Anyway, 591-8900 is the phone number. Back after this in WLS.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford, 890 AM, WLS.
Economists may say that the recession officially ended last year.
News happens here.
I am so concerned that we are too easily duped.
First.
Is the American dream dead?
And quite frankly, Mr. President, I need you to answer this honestly. Is this my new reality?
And I am fit to be tied over this election. Totally fit to be tied if I'm driving my husband crazy.
890 AM.
This is as American as apple pie.
WLS.
I've been hearing that Toyota is going to offer some really amazing deals soon. Well, I know a great opportunity when I hear it, but how can I tell when specifically is the best time to buy and take advantage of these deals?
Presenting Toyota's Now's the Time sales event.
It's not like somebody's just going to come out and tell you.
See, now is the time. Now. The great deals are happening now. Right now, at your local Toyota dealer, you can lease a new 2010 Prius for $219 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at signing plus taxes and fees. Plus, get $750 cash back, enough to cover your payments through the end of the year. Or choose 0.9% APR financing for 60 months.
Figuring out when I should buy. That's What's the trick?
Yeah, that would be now. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. Offers end October 4th.
0.9 APR financing for 60 months with $1,705 to $1,000 borrowed. Lease and APR on approved credit from Toyota Financial Services. Call 1-800-79-TOYOTA for lease details. Cashback from Toyota Motor Sales USA Inc. Offers may vary by region. See participating dealer for details.
I've been telling you about Healthy Trinity for years because you can take control of your health by doing positive things. Eating well, exercising, and taking Healthy Trinity is my number one choice. Just one capsule a day, every day, for over 10 years. It's done amazing things for my body. And when you do this, when you take one capsule of Healthy Trinity, you flood your system with the good bacteria that it needs for a healthy GI tract. You can go to Natron.com, type in my name as the promo code ROMA, and see the great special offers that are available to you this month. Natron has the highest standards of quality, safety. You can always trust them. They are internationally drug GMP certified, and they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. So call today. Speak to one of Natron's probiotic specialists. 866-462-8736. That's 866-462-8736.
Did you know American students rank 10th in science among developed nations?
1 in 5 young men drops out of school.
And when it comes to graduating people from college, we're not first. We're 12th.
America, it's time to do something. Join NBC News for a special event. Education Nation, starting September 26th. An extraordinary week for our country, our future. Only on NBC.
Need some guy time? Here's your chance with Kissimmee, Florida's Ultimate Guys Getaway Sweepstakes at KissimmeeGuysGetaway.com. One lucky guy and a friend will enjoy a 4-day getaway at Reunion Resort, including a round of golf on a Nicholas, Palmer, or Watson signature course, a lesson at David Ledbetter's Golf Academy, and a day of bass fishing with pro angler Terry Seagraves. For full details and your chance to win, enter now at KissimmeeGuysGetaway.com. Airfare and rental car included. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 10/27/10 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Sponsored by the Kissimmee Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Learn to avoid having a financial repeat of 2008. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future with the Goldstone Financial Group. Sunday mornings at 8.
The latest national news is just minutes away with ABC News updates at the top and bottom of every hour on 890 AM WLS. You're listening to Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
How I wish that there were more than the 24 hours in the day. Even if there were 40 more, I wouldn't sleep a minute away. Oh, there's blackjack and poker and the roulette wheel.
550.
Fortune won and lost on it.
Here in the phone line, stay there. We'll get to you in a second. But I want to introduce somebody who's here early, which I always appreciate. Gary Summers from Antiques Roadshow. Good morning, Gary.
Aloha, Jake. Aloha, Chicagoland.
We were just, Gary came in with a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm hiding it away from you.
Yeah, it's hard to find. What did you tell me? You're staying on the outskirts of the Loop.
Yeah, down at the Holiday Inn.
Because you can't get anything closer, because everything's filled.
Yeah, sold out town.
But no people.
I didn't see anybody, did you?
No.
Isn't that bizarre?
And the Dunkin' Donuts are closed around here.
Well, most Dunkin' Donuts are closed early in the morning. And
why? But they're donuts. It's coffee. You think they'd be open?
You'd think. They're all like a little franchisees, so they make their own rules. And so it's mostly about whether they can get worker bees to come in and serve the coffee. And
but they don't make their own donuts.
No, most of the little ones don't. They make them in a special place and travel them around.
Yeah, because I've seen the big semi unloading the donuts.
Well, ever since Fred retired, they don't have to make their own donuts. It's never time to make the donuts. It's time to make the coffee.
We're gonna talk about why you're here in the studio, why you're in town, and we're gonna get people lined up on the phones. But we're gonna let you kind of settle in for here and meet our people. Mike, good morning. You're on WLS.
Hey, Jake. Mike from Downers Grove. How you been?
How you doing, Mike?
Good to have you back on the real part of the dial.
Yay!
Wanted to talk to you about my experience with Fat Johnny's at 72nd and Western.
It's going to be a good experience or a bad experience?
It depends. The mother-in-laws come back to get you. And that's where I first had a mother-in-law on the menu. That was right across from Eddie Carosa's Baby Doll Polka Club. Ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, that was a big deal. You asked the old timers about Eddie Carosa's Baby Doll Polka Club.
Now, Mike, let me explain to Gary what the mother-in-law sandwich is first. We had talked about the mother-in-law sandwich. I've lived in Chicago all my life. I never heard of the thing. It's you take a hot dog bun, they put a tom-tom tamale in place of a hot dog, cover it with chili and onions and cheese and all that stuff, and they call it a mother-in-law.
Never heard of it. Sounds something from Texas.
Yeah, it's Chicago.
That's right. And needless to say, it's in a little bowl type thing. The other thing, Jake, why they have to have an outside company run the lottery? You know why that is?
Why?
Well, that's how you raise campaign cash. The not-so-mighty Quinn has an election coming up. So you got to sell something or lease something or bring in a consultant because that's how you get a campaign donation.
I guess. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
It's morning.
They sold the lottery.
They sold the lottery?
They have a private company that's going to run the lottery now.
Is that good or bad?
I said let the mob run it.
Well, exactly.
How do you
fail at a private company? How do you know that's not?
Don't start. How do you fail at gambling?
I'm against gambling in the throw the money away process, but I'm very for gambling when it means buying something you think might be worth a lot of money someday, like an antique or collectible, which is what I buy, and that's my gambling. I mean, I've got a pile of losses, but that's not the point. I love my losses as opposed to having just a lottery ticket I throw away.
Now, you're in town for the raise money for Misericordia, correct?
No, this year
it's
second year in a row for Komen for the Cure.
I'm sorry, Komen for the Cure.
Yeah, my mom had a double mastectomy last year, and she's 82 and a survivor, very great, at that age to be able to go through that and deal with that. So last year we started putting all of our efforts into any kind of charity work I could do would be for the Cure Cancer, because I mean, hell, if they can do the lottery and hand it over to an outside source and make money on it, why can't they do that with cancer?
Now you'll be up at Plaza del Lago.
That's correct.
Up in Wilmette, which you've done now. How many years in a row? 7, 8 years?
Seventh year.
7th year.
And each time I've been here with you.
Been with me no matter where I am.
Wherever you are, Jake.
It's here or there, wherever.
We like you here.
And what time will you be there?
Today it's from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Donation of $10 or more. You're welcome to donate more money. If you got $1 million item, you're welcome to donate lots. But it's at Plaza del Lago, 1515 North Sheridan in Wilmette, the little plaza there. It gets really full really quick. So if you're going to come, please come early.
And what time will you be there?
From 10 until 3, but we have to leave at 3.
Now, who's with you this year?
Daniel Buxall, the opposite of me.
Mr. Personality.
Hey, he and I are perfect opposites. Mr. Republican, Mr. Progressive, Mr. Suit, Mr. Hawaiian Shirt.
Did he do Rose Show?
Yeah.
Did he? Now, tell me if this is true now, or is this just an urban legend that's going around in the last couple of days, that he was on Rose Show and he said nothing has value anymore, at which point Rose said, what are you doing on the show?
No, that wasn't Daniel, but I can imagine somebody might have said that, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't Daniel.
So it's an urban legend.
No, it's very possible that, somebody hears and overhears somebody say something. Oftentimes it's funny because, you watch the blogs and you watch the spammers and you watch all that internet-y thing, and you see all these people making all these comments. Well, this guy said this guy said that. It's hearsay. They sit around listening to us. They have their little flip phones out at the events, and they're trying to catch us doing something. Nobody does anything wrong. It's just people's perception.
How many seasons have you been on Antique Show?
This is my 14th. I completed my 14th of 15. 8 Emmy nominations.
Have you ever won?
No, I'm the Susan Lucci of Emmys, of Outstanding Reality. Antiques Roadshow is going to have, 15. Well, no, we want to win 1.
Has anything surprised you? I mean, this past season, anything you say, hey, I haven't seen this before?
Oh, my God, Jake, you would love this. It's gonna. I taped it in San Diego in June, and you're going to love it. It's the original laugh track machine. The machine, see, the look on your face, I would have hit the little button, I would have gone,
yeah.
But it's exactly the machine the guy built to create laugh tracks. He went and recorded Red Skelton shows and Marcel Marceau shows of the audience, and then he would put them on tape loops, and he built a machine where he could push like a typewriter key and would set that loop going, and it would be laughter or applause, and it'd be certain levels of applause and laughter, and he could mix them up so it would sound like you would laugh and into applause, into big applause.
Now, the guy who sold it, who brought it to the Antiques Roadshow show, say that fast. Was he the original owner?
No.
He bought from somebody.
He bought a storage locker. This is the treasure hunting we are all looking for. He bought a storage locker for the washing machines and carpeting and everything was in it, and this gray box was in it. It's rolling gray box with a bunch of books on it that had lists of all these TV shows, starting with 1953 and ending in 1989 with Cheers was the last show that this machine was used on. It was used on every television show. He had proprietary knowledge. He wouldn't even let anybody know what was inside the gray box. He would go in, plug in an audio cable from his box into the board and say to the guys, which buttons do you want? And that was it. And for that many years, he monopolized laughter.
What's it worth?
I appraised it about $10,000.
All that for $10,000?
Well, no, the funny thing was, is the guy had bought the storage locker for $600 for everything, sold everything else for $2,000, so he was thrilled, and then found out he had a treasure. To me, that's a treasure.
I know, but I think that big a treasure would be worth more than $10,000.
It would be.
It would be.
And we'll tell you why.
And you'll tell us why. If you want to line up on the phones, 591-8900. If you have anything you want to know what it's worth, if it's of a pop culture nature, I don't want to hear any Rudy Valley records. 591-8900 is the number. Gary Summers from Antiques Roadshow is here. Will be with us the whole next hour. With me, Jake Hartford on WLS. Don't go away.
Jake Hartford is on 890 AM WLS.